off and rolling.
Good Sunday morning. This is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. I'm Kate Doherty with the Radical Ryan.
Thank you.
Who needs to work on his putting game. The
That's okay. That's all
lovely
right.
Laura
We're trying.
McReynolds and the practically perfect Penny Epinson.
Do we need to stand and take a bow?
No.
Okay.
It's radio. They can't see us.
Okay, wait.
It's only because we're now videoing that we're all like attempting to, actually move around.
Right.
So, anyway, okay, I do want to say something. Last week, if you listened to the show, I understand we might have ruffled some feathers.
Just perhaps.
Just perhaps,
Maybe.
because obviously the last week on the show, we talked about different families' perspectives on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s statements on autism and how he wants to redefine a focus. And we just looked at it from multiple different sides. You may agree, you may disagree. Quite frankly, it's a discussion. And it's something that we as Americans, as people, as hashtag everyone, need to learn how to have. And we need to understand and get away from the fact that you're wrong, I'm right. Is there right? Is there a wrong? Abso-freaking-lutely. Is there good in the world? Is there evil in the world? Absolutely. However, many times there are multiple different perspectives and multiple different experiences that shape one encounter. When it comes to the subject and field of autism, it is a vastly different lived experience for each and every single family that is affected with this particular condition. And having said that, I have been pleased by the number of people who have come out and said, listen, we need to have this discussion. And thank you for having this discussion. Perhaps some of the wording was not exactly as people would have enjoyed it, and it became
Correct.
a soundbite.
Yep.
However, for most people, they're saying, listen, this has been hidden. This hasn't been presented. This is a 25% of the population of people who live with autism, what they and their families live with on a daily basis. Thank you for addressing it.
I did honestly. I mean, I knew he was speaking about a specific segment on the spectrum, and there's different definitions and different categories and all this that I don't understand medically, but I do know they exist. But I did not know it's 25%.
Well, and I also want to say that I understand some of the wording. I get it. We work very hard to reframe the way people view our community of people with disabilities. I understand that not everybody is going to like his approach, and not everybody's going to like my approach. Not everybody's going to like somebody else's approach. And you know what? That's okay. You don't have to like it, but I do think a valued increase in discourse is incredibly important. And one of the things that I point to is even, when it comes to the language people use, I mean, it's okay for people to become aware that there's different ways people like to be spoken to or referred to or not referred to, that words do have meaning, and we need to be cognizant of such things.
Sure.
So if nothing else, at least we got the party started and talking about that. And I do think it is fair for an adult who lives in that 25% of significantly profoundly affected by autism, for them and their family members to have somebody who advocates on behalf of them. Is it
Very well
necessarily the right way? I don't know about that. I don't know about anything. That's not what I want. I just want a discussion to be started. And I certainly do believe that the more we can do to increase the opportunities, it's very important. One of the things that actually made my heart happy that I keep hearing over and over and over again, and that you guys know, is they're saying medical implications. Someone may have autism, but they may also have this and this and this and this, and it affects them. It affects the quality of their life, and that we have to start looking at some of these things as medical puzzles so that we can begin coming up with the appropriate interventions. And I feel like that's really important. Now, clean the slate, out with the old, in with the new.
There it is.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, but I think I got a way to connect it. But go ahead.
Okay.
I know I was thinking the same thing.
Are you thinking the same thing?
I don't know if we're thinking the same
I'm
thing,
thinking
but
the same
I
thing, too.
was thinking of a segue.
Wait, okay.
Let's
What
hear
is
it.
yours?
Let me,
A moment ago, Kate used the word soundbite.
Okay, that's where I'm going. Keep going.
Yeah, me too.
No, now you pick up.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
that is
okay.
where you're going.
And I think that when it comes to communication,
Oh, yes, that's what I thought too.
when it comes to communication, okay, so we have RFK Jr. who said something. His delivery, boom, was at a level that somebody was all up and upset about, whatever. But I think this is where we go wrong, is that we don't take time to really understand. He may have said something. Listen, he's doing a speech in front of a group of people. He might say it a little bit off. He might say something he didn't quite mean to say it that way. We have to be understanding of communication and ask for clarification versus jump and kill. Because I think that's what they've kind of done, is a little bit of jump and kill.
Ooh, I
But
don't,
maybe
jump and kill
jump
is
and-
actually,
I don't
I've
know.
not heard that.
That
But
just came out of my head, people.
I'm thinking we need to coin it.
Jump and kill. But, you know, and I think that that's just also much about what you're just about to talk about is like, yeah, it's a communication thing. Maybe we need to stop and listen and think about what's our filter that we're processing whatever he's saying through. But also, maybe we need to take time to understand more of what he's trying to say. Communication is the key to everything in our life. There we go. And that segues into social media. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah,
That
we
was
are.
impressive.
Go Peg.
I'm not sure
Very
if
impressive.
I'm not sure if everybody followed that or not. But anyway,
I was following along with
today's
every word.
Today's show is actually going to be on social media from a lot, and not just social media, just basically essentially technology use, pros, cons, this, that, the other, across the entire board. And it's going to be, wait for it,
Uh-oh.
a discussion.
Oh.
Ah,
A discussion. And it's going to be a discussion because no different than last week's discussion, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. What is this?
What's going on?
Stop it.
No jump and kill.
Oh, can we please not do that? Okay. So,
jump and kill.
technology
I gotta remember
is a
that.
tool. Social media is a tool.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Okay? It can be a wonderful tool.
This can.
It can be a horrible tool.
Very much so.
It, quite frankly, relies, no different than most tools,
On the people who use the,
people who
tools.
use the tools.
Very true, yeah.
Okay, and so anyway, I want to go in this because, and you can say, well, Kate, why are you even doing this? Your show is supposed to be about, using Down syndrome as the voice for how every child. Well, guess what, people? Technology.
Is a voice.
It's a voice,
That's right.
but technology is different for people with disabilities. Why is it different for people with disabilities, Kate, you ask? Well, for you or me, if you don't have a disability, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I can leave it, I can take it, I can ban it, I can not. Well, here's the deal. Technology, for most of us, makes life easier. Technology for people with disabilities makes life possible.
True that.
It allows access
change.
to a
Big difference.
community in a manner that they have not ever been able to have before. One of the things you can find very frequently with, and I actually will focus on Down syndrome for 2 seconds, in some of our adults in rural areas is they can become depressed because once they get out of school, very often their ability to interact, if they don't have a job, if they aren't able to be employable, they become lonely. We as a species of humans
Are designed to be in communion with other people.
we are designed to help and be helped, and that's just the way we were made. And so one of the things that you find is that they can be. So here's a beautiful, quote unquote, side effect of social media or of technology: the ability to text, to the ability to be part of a social media group that is focused on an area of interest for a person with a disability or Down syndrome or anything else is phenomenal. And
Well,
they
I
can
got to
reach-
say, I'm going to up it a notch because you often do. At some point, every one of us might be lonely. So, disabled or not, and I'm thinking specifically of an elderly population, but it doesn't have to be. Every one of us who might be lonely, that's a thing that can happen to anyone, regardless of any ability.
That's a good point.
And that's definitely a pro for social media.
You have an ability to reach out. I mean, for goodness sakes, going back, if you are somebody who utilizes an eye gaze system, you now have the ability to make phone calls, to text, to
that's
to communicate.
miraculous if you
It
think
is
about
miraculous.
it.
If you're listening to the show and you've never heard of an eye gaze system, an eye gaze system literally is you use your eyeballs. It's for people who can't it's your eye movements that control your voice. It's amazing. It is the coolest thing because here's the deal: your voice, your ability is cognitive. It's not. Like you may not have use of your entire body, but hey, you're still there. And so the eye gaze system, all the communication systems are amazing. And anyway, you can say, oh, okay, but those are isolated. Those are smaller incidents. Oh, I do understand.
Right.
I understand that there are crises points when it comes to technology use. But one of the things I want to talk about today, and I see this even in our quote-unquote neurotypical population, where people are like, I just don't do that. No, I don't do that. I'm not going to learn it. I don't want any part of it. And you know what? That's your right to not want any part of it. I will support you in your choices. You don't have to have a phone. You do not have to send text messages. You do not have to learn Snapchat or TikTok or any of these things. And, I hear other people say, they're tracking you. You're right. You're right. If you're part of any form of a benefit program, they are tracking you. If you go to the gas station, you're part of the Hy-Vee any Hy-Vee County Market,
Shameless
any
plug.
Walmart,
Shameless
Sam's
plug.
Club, whatever
Shameless
your
plug.
store of
Shameless.
choice may be. And they've got
Love
the
it.
little boop, you get a special deal. If you scan this, what do you
yeah.
think they're doing? Yeah, they're tracking you.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
being incredibly smart. They're using it so they can maintain their stock. I mean, for goodness sakes, at our little booster club this year, we scan everything in and we scan everything out. Do you know why? Because our overhead, we can save several $1,000s if we're tracking our overhead and we don't have overstock then. And for a little itty bitty school, $2,000 is a huge amount of money.
Yep.
And so why do we, and trust me, at our itty bitty school, people are like, I don't like scanning junk in. Why am I scanning this junk in? Well, you're right. Well, I get it. It takes, in this case, yes, doing math in your head is infinitely faster. Making change is infinitely faster. In this case, however, I will say being able to have had everything scanned in and scanned out. And when we looked at, this is what we use. This is what we sold out of. This is what we, holy smokes. And you have about a $2,000 savings because next year you don't have to order quite the same way. It does matter. And so you can say, well, you can do that same thing. Well, it's a little more time consuming and harder
I
without
sure say you
technology. You
can.
can. You're right. They built the pyramids before technology. So.
Or did they?
Or did they? Exactly. I was gonna say.
Oh, great. Let's
Don't
go
know
there.
that was again.
Great.
No, there's a lot of benefits, and I get it. There are certain things when it comes to technology that I love and that I hate. Like, it's just the reality.
So I'm going to go, I'm a history person, right? And so do you guys remember when, you don't remember, but maybe from a class you remember this.
Possibly, yes.
One of the big controversy many years ago was actually when they translated the Bible into the common tongue. It was a huge controversy at the time because you just made God accessible.
Right.
Latin
kept it from the commoners.
Yeah. So then you scroll through time. You have the printing press, you've gone from print, you've gone to, and then let me see, what was the first televised debate? Who was the first televised presidential debate? But I remember it was very interesting. And when we go on break, I'm going to Google this, okay?
Yeah.
The very first televised debate.
That's where I'm going.
I think it may be Kennedy, but I want to double check myself. My mom actually wrote a paper on that a lifetime ago. But they said up until that very first televised debate, the other candidate was leading, and after the televised debate, but it's the power of video, which weirdly and interesting. Right now, as we're living in this time of quote unquote technology, social media, marketing, all those different pieces,
No doubt.
I have never been a technophobe, but Elliot is 17. When Elliot was born, I'd never sent a text message. Why? I felt like it was pointless. Why would I ever send a text message? I mean, that wasn't something that I was into. If I wanted to talk to somebody, I was going to pick up the phone and call them.
And now we can't get her to stop texting.
Shh, hush. So anyway, hush, child, hush.
Wow. There it was.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I know he's not
I'm
really
totally
kidding.
No,
He's
I
not
am.
really.
I'm totally joking. It was totally a joke.
Well, I kind of
Put
had
it right there on the TV.
I did. You
Yeah,
kind of.
it's fine. Then. It's fine.
Anyway, everything's fine.
I'm gonna give you a wave because you get this. This is yeah.
Yeah.
We're coming
So
up on it.
so anyway, so at that time though, like I had used I had computers in my school growing up. You know what I mean, like DOS.
Oh, yeah, back
But
in the day.
yeah, if you've never seen DOS, you don't even know what
That's
DOS is. You have never heard the dial-up.
No, it was a little
That has
before
never
time.
happened. Anyway, I hadn't because I viewed it as a tool, and to me that was an unnecessary tool. I didn't need to. And when I went to my very first conference, and I saw the way technology was transforming the lives of individuals, I was like, oh, I have to learn how to do that because I have to be, one, safeguard my child.
Yeah.
Two, help teach and promote access for my child to this. And three, I need to learn how to use this in a positive manner, which is what, with all due respect, I really have tried to do. And I've been grateful to have been part of this evolution because it has helped Downcountry in marketing. It has helped many people with disabilities. And quite frankly, even now, this radio show being shown in video format, it hits many more visual learners, not just auditory learners, which is incredibly important to me. When we come back, I want to talk about some things that scare me when I hear people do this all or none as it relates to technology and social media use. For now, this is Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. Good Sunday morning. This is Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. I'm Kate Doherty with the Radical Ryan, Practically Perfect Penny, and lovely Laura McReynolds. And while we were on break, we did do a Google because I had brought up the first presidential debate, televised presidential debate. Hold on one second.
Right. So, the first two presidential candidates to debate on television were Kennedy and Nixon in 1960. However, 4 years prior, a senator by the name of Margaret Chase Smith represented one candidate, and Eleanor Roosevelt, she represented the other, and those two candidates had to been Eisenhower and
FDR.
FDR. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was
So-
the first
why.
televised debate was actually two women.
Right.
However,
And it was the first time a woman was on Face the Nation, CBS's program.
really,
Yeah.
Very-
Yeah.
very
But
unique.
it's funny. I don't
wonder
know
what
why
the
they had
reason
these
was.
two women
Yeah.
do it, other than, well, I don't know.
I would imagine they had the women do it, and this could be totally. I think they had the women do it so the men didn't lose face in case it crashed and burned.
There you go.
And so
because
we-
it did kind of
we-
crash and burn. There was a thing so it was Smith, the senator, instead of former First Lady Mrs. Roosevelt. She, in her closing argument, she became forceful on the issues instead of the soft demeanor, and it changed the trajectory of the election.
See, isn't that
Yeah.
fascinating?
So
And then
interesting.
I had heard
Yeah.
when Nixon and
Her
Kennedy had.
change in demeanor unnerved and angered Eleanor Roosevelt, who refused to shake her hand after the debate.
I wonder, wouldn't it be interesting to watch that
That
now?
would be
To
controversial.
see what that would be like. Would we perceive it to
Oh
be
no, we would think that was
way?
so tame.
Yeah, exactly. I think that once again shows the evolution of the female, but also many other things. Sorry.
No, it was fascinating.
Anyway, kind of
That's okay.
interesting.
No, we have learned something new today on the show. Hope you guys go. I suggest you do a little check-in. Okay, so here's where I want to go. And we're going to go in relation to children and technology. And I'm going to really step in it here because there's a huge movement in multiple states right now where we're going to ban all cell phones from school.
What?
We don't need these things. And the reason why they want to do it, or some of the reasons, is this has become it's corrupting education. It's basically the same conversation we had 30 years ago when I was in school over computers versus pens and paper.
Okay, I'm going to disagree.
Hold on.
Oh, my.
Hold
Oh, good.
on,
Oh,
hold on.
good. This will be good.
It's spicy up in here.
Buckle in.
And I'm just going to say.
Although, who am I to disagree? You're in a classroom. I'm not.
Disagree away.
But
Do
even
it.
if you're not there, you can still have your opinion.
Opinions
lot.
are welcome.
Okay.
Yeah. We're having a discussion.
We're having
Okay.
a discussion.
All right.
Exactly.
Keep going. I'm so sorry.
No. So here's the thing. I basically, as a general rule of thumb, am not a fan of banning anything. And you say somebody asked me why?
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 It never works.
Oh.
I agree with that.
It has
actually.
not ever worked in the history of we're gonna ban this. Okay, let's do it. Oh, well, everybody's reading it now.
Right, but I think if you ban it, then I think the attention it gets more on it. You know, it's
does,
like
yeah.
you can limit when kids can drink alcohol. Guess what? Didn't stop them from drinking at 18. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it just
Rules
increases
are-
the desire.
Yeah, rules are made to be broken. Like, watch me get away with this. Really, I can't have my phone. Ooh, now I got my smartwatch.
Big deal.
Oh wait. Anyway, okay. So for me, I feel like it's a simplistic answer when you go, we are not going to allow kids to have cell phones at all in schools, and because there's bullying. Okay, all right. Well, bullying has been around since the beginning of time. I'm not condoning it. I'm just going to tell you, you can get rid of the cell phone, and
You're still going to have bullying.
you're still going to have bullying. People are very innovative. They're kind of going to come up with another way to bully somebody. Ask Ryan. I come up with a new and unique way to bully him every week.
All the time. Every day.
Anyway,
I try to be. I try, but
yeah. So I'm not. My thing is in today's day and age, and we live in a rural area. So let's bring it up.
Yeah.
I guess maybe you can make arguments in a metropolitan area. You need them more and less. In a rural area, with all due respect, if you have a teenager who is driving and is far from home or not far from home, or, in some cases, like where I live, it takes 30 minutes to get to Quincy, 30 minutes to get to Hannibal. And those are the 20 minutes to get to Palmyra. I mean, it is the closest. Those are my closest options. So from wherever time I am for my children's school, I'm at least a half an hour away. And not that I need to be in contact with them at XYZ point of every single given day, but I do think, given the nature of the way our world works right now,
Yep.
like, kids need to be able to, I guess you could say, well, leave them in the car. Okay, well, I guess they can leave them in the car. But then you still have this problem, and this is where, for me, it becomes hard. Then we aren't teaching them any of the things that we need to teach them to use this as a tool. So then it's basically like not having a safe sex talk with your child. Sorry, I know it's a Sunday morning. We shouldn't say it. But, I mean, that's what it is. Okay, we aren't going to talk about it. We aren't going to do it. We're just going to say, no, we aren't going to. Well, guess what? People are still going to get pregnant. Well, here's the deal. If we don't teach kids that, one, hey, when you do buy that gumball at XYZ store and they ask for your card, you are being tracked. If we don't have conversations with them about what that, and not just conversations, if we don't teach them how to use it appropriately and in the appropriate manner, I feel like we are allowing children to go in unarmed. And where I get really scared is when I have parents who say, oh no, my kid's not going to do that, and I'm not going to do that either. Well, and Penny, as a counselor, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Anytime I hear a parent say, my child would never do that, or my child's not going to do that, I, after all these years, kind of get a little trembly and my palms get a little sweaty, because I'm here to tell you that 9 times out of 10, that little perfect darling absolutely is going to do whatever you just spoke into the universe. They're going to give it a shot. And so my concern is now, and I do have Snapchat. Why do I have Snapchat? Because I'm a stalker.
You can watch your
Why do I
snaps.
have TikTok? Because I'm a stalker. Why do I have, and you can say, well, Kate, you need those to run your business too. Yeah, but I'm here to tell you, there probably is not anything that I want my kids to potentially have access to that I am not going to at least
Absolutely.
have a bare minimum pulse on how to do it. So it does make me nervous when I see, because then I feel like it's like sending lambs to slaughter. Like, if you have no basis and you don't understand all the bad things that can happen, you have no way to safeguard. And there's identity theft. I mean, if MGM can be robbed blind by, I mean, how many millions did they lose because somebody hacked into their stuff?
Yeah.
If we aren't
MGM.
having these conversations with our kids, I feel like we're setting them up for failure. So let's continue to say, oh, no, you can't have it. Well, but and here's the deal. I will walk in. I guarantee I could walk into any single school in this entire tri-state area that has a cell phone ban, and I can find cell phones without even.
Oh, I'm
mean,
sure,
every
but
single
yeah.
one. I mean, like it's not working.
Yeah.
And for some people, I get nervous because, again, I work with a lot of young families, and I hear the I will never, or my child will never, or I don't, they're going to be 18 before they ever have a cell phone. Okay. I mean, and that's your choice.
That's your
and
choice.
I'll defend your right. So then what happens when they become 18? Did you have a conversation with them about pornography? Because it's out there. Did we have that conversation? And so I don't know. So there you go. I have more that I can say on this, but I'm going to let Penny give me her counseling because there are bad things.
All your turn, Penny.
Here's the deal.
Listen.
No, there are bad
All you.
things. Kids do abuse it. I know that's going to shock you. Kids do abuse their privileges.
Oh,
I mean, and they do. And my thing when parents say to me, well, they did that. And I'm like, well, did you ground them? Did you give them a consequence? Did you have a discussion with them about it? Did you explain to him did you explain to your kid why you aren't supposed to take those kinds of pictures on your phone? Did we talk about it? And very often I find, again, going back to the discussion thing that we've kind of been hammering home, we've quit having discussions.
Quit having conversation, communication.
I mean, and to be fair, that is one of the things that I hate most about cell phones or social media or that is the scrolling. And you can say, well, Kate, you scroll. You're right, but it is really easy. And in the studio right now, I know we're on air, but I'll just do this. How many of you have been guilty?
Yeah, I was like, look at
How many of you have been guilty of being at home with your significant other and or your family, and every single one of you is on a device?
Absolutely.
I try
I
not
mean-
to. Just because it's just not necessary.
All right,
I
Penny.
try.
Whatever.
All right, back off, Sugar Plum.
totally
I
kidding.
said I try not to. I really do. I sit there because
No.
I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want
Right.
to do this because it does suck you in. It is addictive, and it is just something instant gratification. And I see my husband sitting over there, and he's doing it. And I'm like, why are we sitting here doing this when we could be together? So I'm not trying to say that I don't do it. For clarification, smart Alex. It was more so I'm saying I try really hard not to do
Well,
that.
and I will
I get
say,
that.
I
I
think
get that.
I think for me one of the struggles is I love to read. I love books. Like if there was not if there was, I read constantly,
Always read.
and I do prefer a paperback book.
I do too.
However, the fact of the matter is, the
like
last 20 books that I've read in the last probably 2
Are on
weeks,
your phone.
they're on my phone, and so I feel bad because I have my phone in front of me reading my books that I'm getting for free.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have an Amazon account, and so I can get certain books for free with my membership, and so
You can get it with a library account, also free.
I
and
mean, like, you-
get a book on your phone. It's
and
awesome.
then I'm sitting there and I'm reading on my phone, and so who is it for me if I'm going to sit and read on my phone to tell Tony he can't,
Right.
watch,
Right.
and
Yep.
to be fair, he watches a lot of boring stuff that I would never dream of wanting to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think, don't you think what you're trying to say is just all about managing it? I mean,
I just
You
think
know,
you have to
you're-
teach people. Don't you think? Sorry, I interrupted.
oh, no, you're fine. Go.
No, you
No,
said
I think you're right. No, I think you're right. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you try to manage it. Again, I think we've talked about this in the past. Like for me, obviously me and my wife are younger and a younger couple, but like we catch ourselves sometimes where we are on our phones a lot. Like once we put the kids down, we'll just sit there and I'm on my phone, she's on hers. And we're like, I haven't said a word to you. Like, what just happened? And now, it's the balance. There are times where, honestly, given having the kids, like, you're so in it and just whatever they're
On.
needing, where, honestly, my wife will say it. She's like, I want to talk to you, but I need a detox. Like, and her detox is, I just need to scroll. I need to not think
So
about
before we
anything.
had phones, I would have said the same thing. I
Right.
mean, when my kids were 3 and 4, 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a cell phone. I mean, I might have had one. Actually, I had
would
a
have
phone. I
watched-
had
you
one,
would-
but I
you
didn't
would
have the
have
same
watched
type
your
of thing.
shows.
But we would have turned on the TV. We
Yeah.
wouldn't have spoken. We would have zoned out with whatever was on.
That's
was
a
on.
good point.
I mean,
So what's the difference?
right.
There's
Yeah,
not
really.
much of one. But again, I think it is still important to find a balance, but that's the
Well,
communication
and then
piece you're
even
talking
then,
about.
I can remember times where I'd be like, "We haven't said anything all night, have we?" But
no,
sometimes you're
absolutely, yes.
just so
Yes.
done
Yes.
that zoning out is an acceptable behavior.
Well, and if
Yeah.
you went before TV, then it would have been people reading the newspaper or
Yeah.
reading the
Yes.
Bible
Oh my gosh.
or reading the
I,
print.
about that.
I
You would have
swore
been-
growing up that my dad didn't know
Yeah.
how to speak because he walked in the door, he had dinner, he asked us all the questions
That's a
at the
good
dinner
point.
table, he made sure we cleaned up, and by golly, he made sure we cleaned up. And then he went and opened up the newspaper, and he didn't speak all night. The rest of us were watching TV, talking, laughing about stuff.
what a
He
good
read
point.
all night.
My dad was the
my-
same way, but with TV. He'd go
Yeah.
after dinner, he'd go and watch TV, watch whatever news outlet. He would just
Yeah.
watch whatever, and that was his
My
thing.
dad took the TV out of the house when I was in, I think, 3rd grade. So we did not actually have a TV in the house until actually, I think in high school, like maybe my sophomore, like then
Yeah.
we had one that we'd use to watch movies or whatever. Literally, he put it in a closet like I'm over it. But we're readers.
Yeah.
So to this
Right.
point, like then he'd be on the newspaper, I'd have a book. We
Right.
were all just
Just reading.
Everybody's sitting
right,
there
right.
reading.
I mean,
Has it
and
changed
and,
much?
and I will say that Tony and I used to have a thing early on in our marriage when we were a young little whippersnappers like
Oh my
Ryan.
goodness, that's right.
Where we would discover in the wintertime, because wintertime is just draining. I
Yeah.
don't know. It just gets a little,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we would kind of start to, knit at each other just
Oh,
a little bit. You know
100%,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like kind of, and all of a sudden I go, oh my gosh, wait a second. Like we have to like, at that point in time was like, we can't watch TV anymore. You know what I mean? Like, because we're just, it's easy at times to get sucked into patterns. And I don't
Yes.
really know that it matters the mode of whether it's a book, whether it's a TV, whether it's a
Right.
cell phone, whether it's, the difference is, and I will say that the difference is how many people can instantly be reached
Yeah.
with the technology we have available today. You know, you aren't talking about a dumb video gets posted and, maybe 5 people see it. In a matter of a minute and a half, you might have 5,500 views on that.
Right.
And the ramifications for a kid who makes a stupid decision can be
Well, it's funny you say that. Like, not to just shamelessly plug away, but I was joking with you guys as soon as I came on the show, or right before we started recording. I posted a TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And in a matter of 5 minutes, it had 67 views, or less than 5 minutes. Like I went back to go check on it because I wanted to go get out of the app or whatever. I already had 67, and I literally just posted like a minute or two ago.
Yeah.
Okay, you and I were having this conversation because I am not
Yeah.
on TikTok. And the reason I'm not on TikTok is because I do feel that I'm going to have that temptation of just sitting there and
Scrolling.
getting sucked into the TikTok hole. However, I did say I'm going to upload it just because I could restrict myself and not have it, or I need to figure out how to manage the freaking thing. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to figure out how to manage
goes
it.
it goes back to management, which also goes back into teaching about it. When we come back, I want to tell a little story. I'm a Ella girl. She always hates it when I do that on the show. Sorry, Ella. One of these days, I don't know, you'll be a mom, you'll understand. It's my duty to make you horrified. I am talking to the camera. It's my fault, Ella, for now. Anyway, this is hashtag everyone, talking about hashtag everything. Good Sunday morning. This is hashtag everyone, talking about hashtag everything. I'm Kate Doherty with the Radical Ryan, the Practically Perfect Penny, the lovely Laura. And today we are talking all things social media. Before we went on the break, I said I was going to share an Ella story, but I'm actually going to share an Ella and Olivia story. And this is the difference. My girls are a decade apart. So Olivia will soon be 26 when she was 12. So 14 years ago, I checked her cell phone, which she had because she was 14.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was the time. And she and some friends, when I checked the text messages, because I am, and Penny, I'll let you weigh in on this counseling, I am not somebody who does not check their kid's phone. Sorry, I do. I check my kid's phone. I know some parents are like, oh no, that's an invasion of their privacy. Well, I pay for that, so I'm going to check that. If they were paying for it, that would be different. I do so respectfully. I don't, but I do. So a lifetime ago, I checked Olivia's phone, and she had been in a conversation with some other girls about a girl that had made them all mad. And my dad, I hope you're listening, said a lifetime ago to me, you never write anything down that you wouldn't want to be able to sit right next to somebody else and have them read. You know what I mean? Like you don't do that. And if same applies for saying it, but definitively. So here had been basically a text message that Olivia had written when they were mad at this other little girl. And so that prompted the very first of our technology discussions in the Doherty household. And it was, we sat down and we said, Olivia, you know what I mean? First of all, you're welcome to feel the way you feel about this little girl. However, how do you think she would feel if she read what you and your other little friend had said? And she said, oh, well, she'd be hurt. I mean, first of all, she was mad because we checked the phone. But second, I'm like, Olivia, this is how this stuff works. I go, you would hurt her feelings. Like, this could go on, and you've written it. And so, and I am aware that there are people who do horrific bullying things. That, in this case, is not what this was. This was what you call a teachable moment. And it was a teachable moment, not just for Olivia, but for myself as a parent as well. Because up to that point in time, I don't know that we had those discussions. So my poor Ella girl, poop rolls downhill is what I hear, has gotten the wealth of every bit of parenting experience. I don't know if this was
and
true.
thank you to Olivia for giving Ella that opportunity to learn. Yeah, yeah, the oldest one, the trial by error child.
But the beauty of that is from the moment that Ella had her first little iPad in her hand with her brother and that we were having this discussion, we have had discussions on what is okay, what isn't okay, how, when you take that little video with yourself, you know what I mean, or with somebody else, it's there forever and ever and ever. And as things have happened in the media world or in the world, we've talked about, we've talked about the Monica Lewinsky pieces. We've talked about these things that can be life altering. And I will say, I am actually really pleased because does Ella, snap her friends? Absolutely. She enjoys using, texting or snapping. Will she occasionally post, something out there? She will. Is she tied to her social media to the way that I see other kids in school who, and there are kids. This is a real thing. There are some kids who get phones that their parents don't know about. Because you can go to Walmart and you can get a phone. You just need to be unsupervised for 5 minutes. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how to activate it. And if you're a kid who has either spending money or a kid, people act like these things don't happen. We as a human race have been sneaking things for a long time. Phones, if they're banned by your family, are one of the top. But what I'm going to say is, I think at bare minimum, I'm not telling you that you are never going to have that you are never going to have a situation arise with your teen and social media, because you will if they're going to learn. But the difference is they're a teen learning about it, discussing it, learning about that there are predators out there on this thing called the web. And that's teaching. And so my concern when we do this all or nothing, it's the same concern I have with dialogue and lack of discourse and lack of discussion, is then none of us learn anything. We have no opportunity to learn from our mistakes. We have no opportunity to grow from our mistakes. And quite frankly, for people with disabilities, to circle it back around, like my Elliot. Laura, how much fun is it when Elliot texts you? Or does he just FaceTime you?
I pretty much get the FaceTime only now.
You only get the FaceTime?
Every once in a while I get a text.
That's cute.
So I'm going to tell you that actually it really is fun. It is fun. Because my soon-to-be 17-year-old son with Down syndrome, he has a group of friends around him who have learned, he texts them sometimes. He likes FaceTime.
He does
He
love
does
his
love
FaceTime. But like if I text back real quick, oh, sorry, can't catch the phone right now, I always get a text back. Okay, next time or whatever, just a quick reply.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I always get a
that's so
reply.
sweet.
And
That's cool.
but for him, I love this because he has kids from other schools that he meets, and he'll give them a cell phone number, and I love it because do I still check my kids? Yes, I do. I'm that mom. I'm sure Penny. I don't know. You can tell me if it's bad or good. I try not to do it invasively, but I feel like I am paying the bill for it. Like I check Tony.
I don't know if it has anything to do with paying the bill. I think it's because you're the parent.
Well,
it doesn't matter who's paying the bill.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's just because you're the parent.
Well,
it's a
I mean,
God-given right.
But I also don't
my
have.
Yeah.
I don't have a lock on and how we've always explained it with the kids. Like my kids can pick up my phone right now, and they can go to anything on my phone. And I could care 2 bits if they saw that. And my thing is, if somebody can't pick up your phone, and you be okay with that, then probably you're
You're
right.
doing something you
You're
shouldn't be doing.
stuff. You
That's a
are
good
putting
rule.
things on your phone. There shouldn't be. My rules for my kids, I guess, are my same rules for myself. I shouldn't be writing, Laura is a hoochie coochie mama. Although Laura is a. But if I don't want her to see it, because guys, I mean, like, so let's say I text Penny, Laura is a hoochie coochie mama. All Penny has to do is screenshot it and send it to Laura.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, so here's the deal, people. Learn a lesson, grown-ups, actually. So that, let's just try and be a little smarter and learn some things from it.
Yeah.
And we do need to learn some things. ChatGPT is not going away. The AI stuff is not going away.
Right.
Yeah.
Social media is not going away. Right now, we are in a total transformation of a media marketing, the likes of which we have not seen in generations. I mean, it is changing and shaping the way we buy things, the way we sell things, the way we get jobs. I mean, your ability to interface on the fly is...
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And, do I, as I'm older, sometimes just really wish we went back to the day where I got to go have a nice, lovely luncheon meeting and I could knock some things out. Because sometimes, guys, in person, in my opinion, is just faster.
Oh, 1,000% it is.
Yeah.
1,000% it is. I see. Look, again, I'm 29, and I don't like texting. Like it is a beautiful thing. Like for instance, for my show, to get guests on that are in different states and higher up or whatever, to send a quick text, hey, can you come on? Like it's a beautiful thing. If I text the wife something, hey, I need this or I need that.
Pick up diapers from the grocery
Something,
store.
whatever. But 9 times out of 10, me and the wife will call each other.
That's good.
Like she'll call me, hey, what are you doing? I need you to do this, and she'll get, and then she goes, after she tells me all that, she's like, I'll text you the list. Like, so you have it.
That's neat.
I'm also just one of those people too that like I would rather pick up the phone and talk to you because the conversation that I would have with you over the phone will take 10 minutes versus an hour on texting to figure out the same outcome. And also too, like to do all that and then like stop what I'm doing. All right, let me text. All right, now I'm gonna get back to what I'm doing. Like I could take that 10 minutes, talk, put the phone down.
Because it's a stop and go, stop and go, stop
Right,
and go thing.
exactly.
That's true.
Now again, if I'm in a situation where I can't talk on the phone, to be able to have that still communication via text, absolutely. Like say I'm on this radio show and I get a text from the wife that I need something right away. You guys are talking, I can bid it, and I'm not interrupting anything. It's a beautiful thing. But again, it's the balance of everything, and it's the, But again, at the end of the day, I'd rather pick up the phone and talk to somebody and meet someone face to face and have that interaction because it just makes more sense. Makes way more sense. But again, it's a good
It's
thing.
managing. It's managing.
This isn't me ripping on it because again, it's a beautiful thing to have technology, but it's just trying to figure it all out.
It is. It's a balancing act, and
It really is.
And again, kind of that's why I wanted to address this on the show because it is a need.
Yeah,
With all due respect, it is a tremendous need. It's a need for, I mean, you brought up the aging population. It's a way for people as they age to remain in contact. Once you aren't able to be fully mobile, especially in our area, to maintain contact with friends and family. And
Think about this though. You brought up the Elliot piece of it all. Like again, all the different people that he's met, right? And yeah, it's town away, it's whatever, but that's a town away, and he has conversations with them. Think about it from a social media standpoint. Like my parents met somebody through, my mom used to sell little craft things.
Yeah.
She's friends with someone in California, and they talk every once in a while. They've met up twice to go to a Chicago Bears game because they're big Bears fans. Again, I've met different people being in the profession that I'm in and have a relationship with them, but I've never met them in person, but it's because of social media that I have that. You obviously, Kate, from the National Down Syndrome, like, you know so many different people, but you wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for your phone, if it wasn't for the technology in place. Again, at the end of the day, technology is an awesome thing, but you have to find a balance that isn't like that it isn't becoming a bad thing or whatever the case.
Well,
like,
and
you
I
just
think,
have to find the balance.
well,
of
and I
it all.
think it's an education piece. I mean, that's the
Yep.
thing. Like when we first did the iPads, people were like, "Oh, we'll just give the you still have to teach.
Right,
You still have
exactly.
to teach children. You still have to." And I think Penny and Laura both will kind of resonate. Like, here's my thing. One of these days, when I'm a grandparent,
Yep.
do I plan to still be doing the whatever the next is, whether it's the Snap or the Talk or the Tick or the Talk or the whatever, or the Facebook or Insta or what? Do I plan to still try and keep it? Yeah. Do you know why? Because there are future little people
Yep. Yep.
that I want to be able to communicate with, that I want to be able to keep tabs on, because I don't think that stalkerish tendency of mine is ever going away. I mean, I think it's going to kind of multiply, but I do want to be able, because weirdly, the fact that my 15-year-old, so Dad, if you're listening, on Snapchat, which is an app that you can have on your phone,
Big deal.
that my Ella girl loves.
Big deal.
Or I mean, not that she loves, it's just that's how the kids communicate.
That's
It's
how they
like me and that phone with the long cord that I used to twine around
There you
myself.
go.
Snap the
Yep.
chat.
Snap the chat.
However,
Nice.
what she likes to do, and I always know it's like an I love you, I'll get it because you can have a snap streak. Did you know this, Penny?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, that's big
yes.
deal. That's big
Sorry,
deal.
Yes, I did know that.
That's big deal.
Okay, well,
Big deal.
I didn't know about
Yes,
the
Snap
snap
streak.
streak.
I
So
didn't know
anyway,
about this.
So the snap streak, well, you basically see how long you can keep a streak
And
going.
and if you break it, you can contact them and have it reinstated.
Oh, well, look at you being all snazzy. Anyway, so
Hey,
my
nice
Ella
job.
girl,
I don't know that. from
and a
personal
snap
use.
is literally like
My
a
child.
picture. It's a rando picture. It can be of anything. It doesn't have to be.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but it's your snap. And so then that's kind of like her little, like, I love you, Mom.
Keeping that
And so
streak.
then I've got to snap
Yeah.
right back, and then she'll snap me, and then anyway.
Well,
Let me-
but
oh,
even
go ahead,
like,
Penny, sorry.
but even like I've mentioned here, I mean, my little grandson is.
Bye, Laura. See you later. Have a good
Love
one.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Is 10 months old, and we FaceTime.
Yeah.
I mean, does
Oh,
he
isn't
understand?
that
what-
delightful?
Does he know what we're doing? Yeah. Does he understand it? Absolutely
You know what's
not.
wild, though?
It's
You know
so
what's-
precious.
You know what's
I
wild,
love it.
though? They're going to know more about it than you do.
Oh,
So, like,
probably.
my kids, they're
Yes.
2 going to go on 3. They can pick up my phone and figure out how to turn it on, which is wild.
Yeah.
Super wild. I
But
also
they're
go-
observing and they're watching
Yes.
you do it.
I have a funny for you because we got to wrap the show. I got a funny for you. Do you ever like when someone like, hey, I'll call you? How do you do the call you sign? Like when you like this.
Like this.
Like this, right?
Uh-huh.
If you ever ask a kid of a younger generation, what do? They go like this. Because no phone is this.
Oh, you're right.
Now again, what I'm doing is like the
so
pinky
he's
and
got
the
like
thumb.
the yellow. He's got his index finger held
Right.
up to his ear
Like
with
the
his
hang
fist.
10
Yeah.
kind of thing for surfing. Put that up to your face, and that's like, hey,
Like,
I'm
I'll
gonna
call
I'll
you.
call you.
Uh-huh.
But I guarantee, and I've seen it a couple times, if a kid that's like in high school right now or whatever, they would like hold it like they're holding a brick, and they would hold it up to their head
That's
because
so
every
cool.
phone is like that. There's no phone that's like, I'll call you.
Oh my gosh!
Just think about
you
that.
know that
Think
isn't that
about
wild?
It is.
Yeah.
I
Do you know
like
where I
it.
learned that?
Where?
TikTok.
There's
Well,
nice. See?
anyway,
You learn a lot.
so thank you for listening to today's show. I think the main thing is just encouraging you. I understand that there's knee-jerk reactions. I also understand there's very valid reactions, and that every child is different, and every grown-up is different for that matter. And we all have different needs and varying needs. But for the most part, I would encourage conversation and discussion around this topic of technology use. and just being aware that we are not going to be able to eradicate that problem. We are not going back to the horse and buggy days. And so we do have to teach our children and hopefully some of our adults
Yeah.
A teachable moment.
on what that looks like and how to best protect themselves. For now, this is #everyone talking about #everything. Have a great day.